Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Wednesday, September 11th, 2024 City Council meeting. Time is now 7 o'clock p.m. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silent meditation. Okay, the first item is roll call.
Mayor Scott Nickel.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Frank Girton.
Here.
Councilmember Adam Dyer.
Here.
Councilmember Hamilton Boone. Councilmember Shauna Hume. Here.
Okay, next item is excusal of council members. I would entertain a motion to excuse Councilmember Boone.
Motion to excuse Councilmember Boone.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hume, second by Councilmember Dyer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Next item is additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda, if any. Does anyone on council want to see anything changed or amended?
Just a small typo on. It's insignificant, but it needs to be crossed out or white out, whatever. SID, whatever that stands for. I forgot to tell you. Right here under city council agenda item, just a small minor typo. No, go to number 11 in your book.
It's agenda item number 10 in the agenda mail.
That's
I gave
where
you
I'm confused.
it's 10. Have a little fun, right?
Okay, we'll make that correction. All right, next is presentations, proclamations, and introductions. We have 3. We have Patriot Day Proclamation, Constitution Week Proclamation, and Suicide Prevention Proclamation. There is the proclamation for Patriot Day. There is no one here to receive that, so we will go ahead. I'll sign that, and we will present that to them separately. For the Constitution Week Proclamation, I understand we have folks here that would like to come up and say a few words about that.
Good evening. Catherine Oman and I, Beth Dewey, bring greetings from the Rufus Fairbanks chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution to the City Council of Indian Harbor Beach. September 17th is Constitution Day, and September 17th to the 23rd is Constitution Week. Our chapter applauds the City of Indian Harbor Beach for its continued commemoration of the historic event by issuing a proclamation. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the City of Indian Harbor Beach, and hi, Shauna.
Well, thank you. I will go ahead and read the proclamation. Did you wish to speak also?
Something to present.
Okay, so what I'll do is read the proclamation. I will come down and present it to you all. Proclamation. Whereas September 17, 2024 marks the 237th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document in its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. And now, therefore, I, Scott Nickel, Mayor of the City of Indian Harbor Beach, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23rd, 2023, it should say 2024, as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights, may never be regained. Witness my hand and seal of the City of Indian Harbor Beach this 11th day of September 2024.
And Mayor Nickel, I have a pin, a lapel pin for you for America 250. In case you didn't know, in 2 years, our country will be celebrating its 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. From 1773 until 1783, many events took place, and we will be celebrating all of those patriotic events over the next few years. So this is what America 250 is, and it's for you, Mayor Nickel.
Thank you very much. Proclamation, please.
He's getting pictures? Okay.
Spot is.
Okay.
Beth, you got that.
Okay.
And
I'll
I'll
keep
do
it on the
pin.
other side. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm not supposed to put my arm up like this. Is that okay? Thank you for this.
Okay, the next proclamation is Suicide Prevention Proclamation. I understand there's a gentleman here who wishes to speak a bit.
Make this very quick. My name is Wayne Price with the Space Coast Health Foundation, and I appreciate Mayor Nickel, Council, your support on this very serious matter. This is the third year we've done this, and this is the first time we've had all the towns and cities in Brevard County issue proclamations. Brevard County Commission will issue one next Tuesday, and that will wrap it up. And this year we also have the support of all 4 chambers of commerce. So you guys are making a difference, and I really appreciate your support on this. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I will read this proclamation into the record. Whereas September is designated as National Suicide Prevention Month, as recognized by the National Association of Mental Illness, and whereas many health officials and community leaders locally, state, and nationally understand that mental illness is a significant issue of concern, particularly among our youth, and whereas it is realized that to address mental health issues requires more open and honest discussions about mental health, and whereas one major hurdle is removing the stigma attached to mental health treatment and discussion, and whereas individuals, businesses, organizations, public officials, and many others recognize the importance of emotional health, and now therefore be it resolved that the City of Indian Harbor Beach City Council supports efforts on the Space Coast to provide education and resources for mental health problems, and be it further resolved that the Indian Harbor Beach City Council will encourage a positive effort to encourage those with mental health issues to seek the help of a family member, friend, colleague, and/or licensed mental health professional to assist them in times of need. Witness our hands and seal, the City of Indian Harbor Beach, this 11th day of September, 2024. Getting my steps in. Okay. All right, next is approval of minutes. We'll start with these minutes from the September 3rd, 2024 beach parking workshop. Does anyone in council have any changes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Gerton, second by Councilmember Dyer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Next is approval of minutes from the September 5th, 2024 Audit Selection Committee meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes from the September 5th Audit Selection Committee meeting.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Hume, second by Deputy Mayor Gerton. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Next is reports, starting with the city manager's report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, city council members, residents gathered here and watching at home. First item is a recommended adjustment to the audit selection timeline. As the audit selection committee met last week, the proposed timeline had the second evaluation committee meeting on October 22nd, and the city council approving the ranking of the proposal November 19th, awarded contract December 10th. It occurred to us that we could, since the October 22nd is a special meeting before a regular meeting, we could add the approval of the ranking of the proposal at the October 22nd meeting and then have awarded contract on November 19th. So I request y'all's permission to make that adjustment before we release the RFP tomorrow.
That is fine with me. I don't have an issue with that.
All right. And just for folks in the audience, the Audit Selection Committee is the city council. It's a state requirement. So they're actually going to make the decision, and then they have to administratively approve the decision as the city council. Some informational items. More updates on the DEP ARPA-funded stormwater projects. Last week, we received 100% plans for the Atlantic East and West project. This week, we received 100% plans for the Ronnie Stormwater project, and we anticipate the City of Baffle Box project design in the near future. All these will be bid out shortly. Gleason Park restroom project update. The contractor has begun work with this initial phase being the building site prep, and the utility line extensions is expected to begin shortly. New fire truck pumper update. The long-awaited truck is at Station 56. It arrived this morning. Minor optional equipment will be installed on site. An official push-in ceremony is being scheduled in October with City Manager Emeritus Mark Ryan traveling down from Tallahassee to provide the muscle to get the thing into the bay. Sale of surplus vehicles update. In accordance with the FY24 budget, staff recently completed the sale of 6 police vehicles, netting the city approximately $20,000 and removing them from our insurance policy. Remaining vehicles to be sold this year include the old bucket truck in Public Works and the soon-to-be retired fire department pumper truck. We had one employee recognition. I received an email from a resident very happy about the bike racks installed in the vicinity of Pine Tree and Osceola. The items tentative for the next council meeting is first reading of the noise ordinance, the public hearing and second reading of the millage rate and FY25 budgets, first reading of ordinance to amend the police pension regarding the drop program, resolution to establish measuring noise procedures, resolution for a personnel policy manual update, and appointments to the police pension and planning and zoning board. And there are multiple events coming up over the next 2 months. That concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next is city attorney's report. There's no city attorney report tonight. Okay. Next is council comments. Anyone on council wish to make any comments? I'll start with Deputy Mayor Gurton.
No, the only comment I have, I had the opportunity to go ahead and share some time with Mr. Coffey and Mrs. Hume over at the Space Coast League of Cities meeting.
Okay. Yeah.
At the board meeting of the Board of Directors for the Space Coast League of Cities meeting that I attended, they were discussing, and I know it's on our agenda tonight, but they're looking forward to getting our legislative priorities by the end of the month.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing to comment.
Okay, and no comment here. All right, next is public comments on agenda items only, if anybody wishes to speak to that. There is one public hearing, two public hearings on the agenda. It has to do with the budget and the millage rate. Seeing none, I will move it along to unfinished business, starting with item number 4, which is first reading of ordinance number 2024-03. It's regarding the revised noise ordinance, and this is to keep the first reading of ordinance number 2024-03 on the table until the September 23rd, 2024 meeting. So I don't know that I need to read the ordinance into the record, given that. So I would entertain a discussion and or a motion on this.
No, definitely, I'm with you on this. I don't see any other way to do it any better.
Okay.
And this is because the attorney's not present tonight, right? The city attorney?
Is this just consensus, or do we need a vote?
I think a formal vote would be good, but
Okay.
Mr. Dyer, I believe at the second meeting in August, y'all deadlocked and decided to table this until Mr. Boone can be back, which we anticipate him back in one of the next 2 meetings.
Okay. All right, so I'll need a motion.
I make a motion that we table the ordinance 2024-03 until we have a full council to vote.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Hume, a second by Councilmember Dyer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, next is new business, item number 5, public hearing, first reading of ordinance number 2024-05 for the operating millage rate for fiscal year 2024-2025. This is to conduct the first public hearing on the operating millage rate for the fiscal year 2024-25 and approval of the first reading of ordinance number 2024-05. I'll read the ordinance into the record. An ordinance adopting a millage rate for the city of Indian Harbor Beach, Florida for the fiscal year 2024-2025, providing for an effective date. City Manager Coffey.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. State law requires the city council to adopt a millage rate before the budget, which is what we have planned tonight. The public hearings for tonight were notified property owners through the trim notices that was sent out in Property Appraiser and Florida Day newspaper. The tentative millage rate is 5.5168 mils, which is 6.89% above the rollback rate, which is revenue neutral, of 5.1612. The proposed tentative millage rate yields approximately $558,000 in net new property taxes and is 0.02281 or 0.51% less than the current property tax rate. I do have a brief presentation that I promise I will keep brief. First public hearings tonight. Second one is Monday, September 23rd. This process started back in February 23rd and has consumed a lot of time of staff and city council. The valuations indicate 7.44 increase in existing valuations, coupled with 10 million in new construction for 1.4 billion in assessed valuations. Combined 8.21. The chart shows the orange bars are the assessed valuations and the blue line is the percent change. This is a recap of what I previously said. The budget is balanced at 12.3 million, which is lower than the adopted budget because of grant money last year. When grant money's removed, it's approximately 800,000 or 7% higher. The state law requires us to state what the additional tax receipts will be used for. Approximately 400,000 of the additional tax receipts will be for employee pay, taxes and retirement benefits, $99,000 for a new police lieutenant position, and $41,000 approximately to offset the impact of inflation on operating budgets. Homesteaded property owners will only experience a 2.67% increase in their city tax bill. For example, a homeowner with a taxable assessment of $515,000 would pay an additional $68.70. This information here breaks out how the taxes are done as far as market value, assessed value, taxable value. For an example, estimated value of $651,000, home purchased in 2020 for $410,000, homesteaded, would pay $1,604 in city taxes and have a total tax bill of $4,800 approximately. This nice little chart here shows the percentages, which are roughly the same as last year, that the city's share of taxes is just under 34%, with the largest share of property taxes going to Brevard Public Schools. The last step in the adoption will be the final public hearing and adoption on second reading on September 23rd.
Okay. Thank you. This is a public hearing, so I will open up to the public. If anyone in the audience wishes to come up and speak, please come up, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes. None? I'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council.
There's no comments. I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 2024-05 for operating the millage rate for the fiscal year 2024-2025.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Dyer and a second by Deputy Mayor Gerton. Adam, do you want to amend that motion to include the proposed millage rate of 5.5168?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, item number 6 is public hearing, which is first reading of ordinance number 2024-06, adopting the fiscal year 2024-2025 annual budget. And this is the first public hearing on the annual operating and capital budget for fiscal year 24-25 and approval of the first reading of ordinance number 2024-06. I'll read the ordinance into the record. Ordinance number 2024-06, an ordinance to establish and adopt a budget for the fiscal year October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025. City Manager Coffey.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The basis of the adoption of the 2 readings and state requirements are the same. I listed it in case a resident wanted to just read this agenda memo. A summary of all funds, of all our funds, is on a cash basis accounting is 12.8 million balanced revenue and expenditures. I have a more lengthy presentation that I will summarize. If anyone is interested in the details, this is available on our website. As I said, 12.6 million in revenues on a cash basis. This is lower than last year. Last year we had close to $4 million in one-time state grant money. On the expenditure side, likewise, we had a significant decrease, similar amount of money. On the general fund side, you see the breakout that the majority, approximately 60% of our revenue comes from ad valorem taxes. Expenditure side, breakout among departments, police department being the largest department at approximately 30% of our budget. Plan for next year is approximately $2.5 million in capital projects. The basis of the budget continues to pay as you go for capital projects, preserving debt-free status, the millage rate as presented. At the last month, we adopted an increase in the stormwater utility rate, some modest increases that will be considered later tonight in recreation, building, and short-term rentals. Continued interagency funding of school resource officer, shared victim advocate, use of transportation impact fee monies for sidewalks, and a overall 5% increase for employees, and adjustments for department directors as identified as a council priority earlier in the year, and adjustments for police officers to slot them into a STEP program, an additional 2.5 FTEs. Only modest increases in retirement, and we anticipate completion of all stormwater projects and starting the Algonquin Sports Complex expansion project early in 2025. Some of the folks who like to dig into the details, we have made a few adjustments of trying to reallocate ongoing expenses to the departments where the department director is directly responsible for them instead of shared responsibilities. This is the same chart as previously about property valuations, same chart about revenues with ad valorem taxes. Here's a nice little pretty chart showing the 61% of ad valorem taxes, which is not uncommon in local government. On the expenditure side, this is where Police Chief Butler, who is on vacation, well-deserved, has the informal nickname 30 cents because every 30 cents of every dollar we receive goes to fund our police department. This last chart, I give a shout out to Comptroller Michelle Toms for figuring out how to do this. Once again, this shows the breakout of 50 cents of every dollar goes to either our police department or capital projects. And that's something I think the residents can be very confident in, that we take public safety seriously and we do not let deferred maintenance go on like some communities. Changes in expenditures is largely related to reallocation of IT expenses to the IT department, an increase in capital outlay funding. I've listed the major capital projects. The Algonquin Sports Complex is the biggest one in the general fund. Road maintenance, sidewalks. I will not list all of these for brevity of time. Stormwater utility fund is balanced at $332,463. And it is lower than last year because we use fund balance for capital projects. On the expenditure side, we have ongoing costs of drainage maintenance, rain barrel, water buffer, matching grants, and we have funding to finish the baffle box local match for the baffle box outside of City Hall. ARPA fund this is where you have to be an accountant to love our math. We're budgeting $74,000 to complete the Algonquin Sports Complex, but we have $1.8 million in the bank that we will recognize in a few months. So a budget of close to $1.9 million next year to finish the Algonquin project. Personnel, the city continues to be largely full-time with the exception of recreation, which is summer program and lifeguard issue there. 2.5 additions. Part of that is 9 months for a new police lieutenant, a part-time public works specialist, 3 months of a new full-time public works person to help take care of the completed Algonquin Sports Complex, and additional crossing guard hours in the recreation department. These are the folks who help open and close Algonquin on the weekends, and additional camp counselors for the recreation department. Last date is as the same as the millage rate. We'll have the second public hearing and adoption on Monday, September 23rd. And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing. I'll go ahead and open it up to the public. If anyone wishes to come up and speak on this item, please come up, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and bring it back to council.
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment. I'd like to thank our city staff for putting together an excellent budget. It's very clear, it's very understandable. We've been having workshops on it since the first of the year, so it's not like we're just sitting down here tonight and going, okay, this is it. We've studied the issues, we've talked to the department heads, and I just wanted to compliment staff on putting together this budget. Appreciate it. I think it's well done.
Goes for the entire council.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments?
No, I agree. Not only the staff, but also council, city manager, and that type of thing. It's been people realize our millage rate has gone down, and that's where we want to go. And we're taking on a lot also. So we're kind of finishing up our recreation department and all that stuff, that type of thing, and now taking on the fire department. We'll move that along. But I just want to congratulate everybody on I think, a great budget.
Okay. All right. Anybody would like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2024-06, adopting a budget for fiscal year 24-25.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Hume, a second by Deputy Mayor Gerton. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 7, resolution number 757, which is to increase fees in the building and recreation departments and for vacation rental registration and renewal fees. I will read the resolution into the record. Resolution number 757, a resolution of the City of Indian Harbor Beach, Brevard County, Florida, increasing fees for permits issued pursuant to the Florida Building Code, increasing fees for services provided by the Recreation Department, increasing fees for the registering and renewing of registration of vacation rentals, providing an effective date. City Manager Coffey.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. In February, City Council directed staff to review all our fees as part of the FY25 budget. We reviewed over 300 unique fees and made a recommendation to y'all in July, which you tentatively approved increasing some specific fees in Recreation and Building Department. On August 13th, as part of the budget workshop, we reviewed a survey of other cities' vacation rental registration renewal fees and reached a consensus to increase those costs. The total estimated impact is for next year is $92,000. Staff recommends council adopt Resolution 757 enacting said fees.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone in council have any comments concerning this resolution? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve resolution number 757.
I have a motion by Deputy Mayor Gerton.
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Dyer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Number 8, renewal of liability, property, workers' compensation, public safety, life, and executive travel insurance policies for fiscal year 25, and it says also 2024, 2025. This is to authorize the city manager to accept the preferred government insurance trust renewal bid for $435,226.55 for fiscal year 25's liability, property, workers' compensation, public safety, life, and executive travel life insurance coverages. City Manager Coffey.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Last year, the city switched coverage from Florida Municipal Trust to Preferred Government Insurance Trust, shorter known as PIDGET. We asked PIDGET for a renewal. We did not ask FMIT for a renewal because the city of Satellite renewed their insurance earlier in the year, and FMIT was nowhere close to being competitive. The renewal for FY25 is approximately 9% increase, which is primarily due to workers' comp increases related to increasing payroll and addition of a high-risk employee. Staff has been very pleased with the services provided by PIDGET from their member education, various forms, to their excellent safety consultant who has helped the city implement a new safety committee that I firmly believe we've decreased a lot of liability risk and improving our employee engagement through the leadership of Chief Lewis, who is our safety committee chairperson in his spare time. Therefore, staff recommends the council approve the FY25 renewal quote from PIDGET and authorize staff to transfer the savings of $52,083 to the city manager's contingency account.
Okay, thank you. I am going to have to declare a conflict of interest on this item as I am on the Board of Trustees for PIDGET. So I will not be voting on this. I will allow council to discuss it and we'll go from there. Council have any comments?
I've read over the proposal and it looks good to me with the facts and figures, and the fact that it is lower than the Florida Municipal Insurance Trust that we used to use, I think is good. We want to save money where we can. So nobody else has a comment. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the FY25 renewal quote from PIDGET in the amount of $435,226.55 for FY25 liability, property, workers' compensation, public safety, life, and executive insurance coverages and authorize the staff to transfer the savings of $52,083 to the city manager's contingency fund.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilmember Hume, a second by Deputy Mayor Gerton. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 3-0. Okay, item number 9, resolution number 758, adopting the fiscal year 25, which is 2024-2025, employee pay and classification plan. This is adoption of resolution number 758, enacting fiscal year 25, 2024-25, employee pay and classification plan, thereby establishing minimum and maximum pay rates for each position. City Manager Coffey.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Beginning in fiscal year 23, the city started formally adopting an annual pay and classification plan. So everyone from employees, elected officials, residents to job applicants would know minimum and maximums. Recommended for next year is a plan which has 53 titles with 35 pay grades. Not all titles are filled. Some titles are provided to allow future flexibility in case of retirements and stuff. Part of next year is the creation of a step plan for Florida Lodge of Fraternal Order of Police members as part of the recent collective bargaining agreement. Planned for fiscal year 26 is moving the rest of the city workforce, with the exception of my position, into step plans also. The proposed plan will increase mins and max by 2% cost of living increase and give everyone a 3% progression, moving them through the pay grade. The cost of the one-time adjustments for the police to become part of step plans is approximately $31,000, and I have a typo there on the last line. It's $41,000 cost to reduce the to start to reduce pay deficiencies among the department directors. Planned for the next 2 fiscal years is similar amounts of money to address that. Therefore, staff recommends the City Council adopt Resolution 745, implementing the fiscal year 25 employee pay and classification plan, effective September 30th, 2024.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from council?
I think the step plan and better benefits is a step in the right direction to help with the retention for the city employees and the police department. So I think it's definitely a good decision. Anybody else have any comments? I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution number 758, fiscal year 25 employee pay and classification plan. Sorry.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion by Councilmember Dyer, second by Deputy Mayor Gerton. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item number 10, establishment of the City Council's legislative priorities for 2025. This is for discussion. Establishment of the city's legislative priorities for 2025.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. As Council Member Hume mentioned, the Space Coast League of Cities is requesting the city's priorities by the end of the month. I have listed the legislative priorities you established last year. Of note, while you are free to finalize this tonight, if you want to, this can easily be tabled for further thought till the next meeting, as long as you resolve the issue. They want the information by September 30th. I put this on you all know me by now. I like to get things done as quickly as possible, but also to give you flexibility if you need more time for consideration.
I would like to see us personally table it. I think Mr. Boone will be back. We're hoping he'll be back next week. And And I know full force here would better serve you.
I agree.
I agree too. I would like to discuss one of the legislative priorities that I would like to put forth, though, just to mention so we could be thinking about it, is again, it's vacation rental regulations. And I know that the governor didn't sign the last bill. And I think we still need to pursue our home rule in that regard, that we need to be able to have more authority over vacation rentals, such as the percentage of them that is allowed in a city. I would like to see that added to the legislation this year, and there'll be new people in the legislature, and maybe we'll get some new ideas. And so I just wanted people to be thinking about that's one of my number one priorities.
Okay. I would entertain a motion. It sounds like we're generally in agreement that it's, we're looking at tabling this to the next council meeting. Do I need a motion for that?
Our next meeting, information on the next meeting for our legislative priorities.
Second.
A motion by Deputy Mayor Gerton, second by Councilmember Dyer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Next is public forum. I do have some speaker cards up here. For those of you who want to speak, and if you haven't filled out one of these, please do so and give it to the city clerk. So first one is Leonard Gremmel. State your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak.
Hi, my name is Leonard Grimmel.
Grimmel.
And I'm on 202 Marion Street. Hey, I started picking up walking, and you guys probably addressed this, but I typically will go out Atlantic Boulevard where you have Space Coast Credit Union on one side and the gas station on the other side. There's a crosswalk there, but there's no lights. So the first question is, why isn't there any lights there? Now, there is one down a little ways across from Millennial, but to get there, I got to cross the street, which I can't because it's all grass. And so I end up cutting through Space Coast and so second question is, why don't we have a sidewalk on the west side of A1A?
There is a sidewalk project proposed by FDOT for the west side of A1A, so that will help solve that problem. Okay. We've also asked FDOT to look at that crosswalk on several occasions, but we're not getting much movement out of them on that. But the sidewalk will at least help solve your issue.
Timing as far as sidewalk?
From what I know, they're having to deal with some acquisition issues at the north end of the project.
Okay, so it's coming from the state versus us?
Florida DOT, that's their roadway.
Yes, sir. One of my suggestions is there's undeveloped property there, and so if anybody goes to develop it, that should be a requirement. They put a sidewalk in just to make it more convenient for people.
That will be part of whatever site gets developed there for their frontage. Might not help you all the way, but it'll give you a little bit of sidewalk.
Something's better than that.
So, is that correct, John? Is that okay?
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Shirts for
Next,
player shirts.
Next is Denise Lambert.
Denise Lambert, 123 Lancha Circle. Following the last work session that you had on the noise ordinance, and just in regards to amplified sound, I mean, like immediately following, Tide and Tonic must have reduced the noise from 65 decibels to 60, because when I go outside and measure it, it's 60. The music is very light, and I cannot hear a thing inside my home. It has been really nice. And like tonight, they had a number of cars coming in around dinner time, so that was good to see. And they've got a video out that showed a Saturday night with a lot of people in the dining room and outside, and I could not hear a thing. And even when I go outside, the music is nice and light. So I really appreciate that, and would just, again, like to encourage the 60 decibels on amplified sound. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next is John Dunleavy.
Good evening. John Dunleavy, 121 Launch a Circle. I'd like to thank you all for your continued attention to the noise ordinance and everything that's happening in our area. And just a reminder that this affects all residents, all those people throughout the city. It is a daily occurrence with us that we are still very aware, very hyper concerned about this as we go through our daily lives. Even last night, I was watching a show and the sound paused and there is music coming in through my doors. So please, 60, I'm trying to deal with it. Just a reminder, 10 decibels is 10 times louder. 5 decibels is 4 times louder, but it's much improved versus where we were. So thank you all for your work on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Deputy Mayor Gert, second by Councilmember Dyer. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0.
Very good job.
Thank you.